Welcome back to the How to Attack series, and today another lesson on how to attack against the uncastled king. So here we see the first position, whites are quite active, the black king is still uncastled. And if you watch how many pieces white and black have, black are up in exchange, their queen is active on h2. But again, it all comes down to this mister on e8, even though our king is uncastled as well. But here, white strike first. So here, bishop f7 is played. King f7, now knight d5, attacking pawn on f4, attacking bishop on b4. This king is in the middle of nowhere. Walk in, bishop f4, now queen h4, and now crucial knight f3. So unfortunately for black, they have serious troubles with this queen, and now the only move, not the only move, black are now lost, but basically the first suggestion of computer is to take on f4 with the queen. Of course, black decide to go for the rook on a1, but unfortunately for them, these knights are coming. Queen h5, just 6, knight c7, again king d8, knight f7, checkmate. If king f8, queen h6, king g8, knight d8, and unfortunately either this or this will come. Black played bishop f8 and knight f6 is a checkmate. Let's take a look at the second example of this episode. So again, we have this position, a very interesting one. So and attacking against uncastled king is where I was talking in the last episodes. f2 and f7 are two squares, the weakest squares in the starting position in the game. So here, if we look at this, that's the only piece which protects this. So let's say this rook is protected by this queen, this pawn is protected by rook. This bishop is protecting this pawn, queen protects this, bishop protects this, and rook protects this. So, and king, king is the most vulnerable piece, and you're getting attacked, you have to checkmate the king, and the king is only the only piece which protects pawn on f7. That's why you gotta look at this squares first and foremost. So here, black played beautiful knight f2 idea, and after king f2, king is uncastled, knight g4, king a1, knight d3, queen d2, d4, and position just collapses. Knight d1, this, king f2, bishop, knight h4, rook f1, bishop h3 attacking the rook g1, now rook a d8, making sure this pawn is stable on d4, maybe setting up the tricks with d3, rook g3, d3 takes, knight f3, rook f3, queen h4, rook g3, and now absolutely insane skittish. And the idea basically, again, the only move is take, queen f4, rook f3, this checkmate. So queen f3, queen d2, king g1, rook e1, this is a checkmate as well, because after basically queen f1, rook f1, the game ends. So, and this game is another example of this f2 vulnerability. d4, knight d5, c4, e6, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, bishop 7, e3 castle, knight f3, knight d7, rook c1, c6, queen c2, a6, and now c5, trying basically to lock this queen side. But unfortunately, guys, I'm not sure why white did that. They were either not familiar with the position or they played d4 for the first time, but usually it's not the best move to do this, because now black have this e5 move anyways, and after d takes e5, knight g4, they will take on e5. They're offering bishop trade, they have no problems. They take on e7, and now both pawns c5 and d5 are in huge trouble. Knight a4, rook e8, bishop d3, h6, and after knight e5 again, it's quite similar to what we had in a previous example, where basically, black are setting up this knight f2, knight g4 ideas. After knight b6, that's exactly what happens. Knight f2, bishop h7. Again, you know, we'll take a look. Knight g4, this basically, you know, game ends really quickly. So bishop h7, king h8, knight g4, castle, knight g4, knight a8. So currently, you know, white are up a rook, but here, you know, black are taking the rook as well, and after bishop b1 they have knight h2 as well. Basically the idea is that after king h2 there is knight g4, there is queen g5, everything works. So knight b6, knight f3. So obviously knight f3 doesn't work because of queen e2, and here she takes f3, walks into queen g5, and again queen is under attack, rook is under attack, white take on h2, rook e2 with check, knight e2, queen e5, knight g3, queen b2, and now queen b1, and of course black converted this one quite easily, and here white resigned. So, and the final game of this episode, and again with black pieces, e4, c5, knight f3, knight f6, e5, knight d5, again not the main line, d4 takes, queen d4, e6, there's knight c6, queen d1, knight e7, knight g6, trying to take this pawn on e5. That's actually a very good example of basically attacks and all that. Queen c7 attacking pawn again, bishop c3, and now as we can see this bishop walks from d2 to c3, and now black have some knight f4 at some point. b6, h4, and now d6 takes, bishop d6, knight d2, knight f4. So to start with, this game is absolutely wild. What you're about to see is absolutely insane thing. Queen f3, bishop c5, queen f4, f5, queen c2, castle. So this king is still uncastled, and here, after a certain amount of moves, bishop f2 is happening. Bishop f2 is happening, and the idea is that after knight g4, unfortunately this walks into this, and if this, there's basically this queen f2 checkmate. So king e2 has to be played, queen g3 now. So according to computer, actually bishop b7 is the much better move here, and black are winning. But after queen g3, you know, yeah, computer says it's after queen d3, actually, you know, white are better. But when you play this position with white pieces, when you just put the board in front of yourself, you're like, man, my king won't definitely survive. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. This queen on g3, it's about to checkmate, it's about queen f2, knight f3 is about to happen, like what I'm gonna do. I mean, and yeah, that's where mistakes occur most of the time. Bishop d4, bishop b7, rook h3, queen d6, basically attacking this bishop, e5, this, and pawns are now starting to march slowly, and you know, black has slowly outplayed their opponent after rook h4, queen g5, queen h3, knight d3. You know, white had to resign on the next 3 moves. Takes, bishop c4, king h8, this, and after queen f6, it turns out queen f2 is being threatened, queen a1 is being threatened, everything is in absolute trouble, and white resigned. And that's it for the attack against the castle king, and in the next episode we'll go over the attack against the king which lost the right to castle. Maybe, you know, something like this happened, right? c5, king f2, that's what Magnus likes to play. So we'll analyze how you can destroy Magnus. So again, let me know in the comments your feedback. I'll see you in the next episodes of this wonderful series. Bye bye.